February 7th, 2022. No, it's not 2022, it's 2024. I wished it was 2022 again. Not really. But anyway, here we are. We got our wheel nuts, strut bolts, caliper bolts, your nut for your drive shaft, spurt with the cauterized thing. And this is the top bolts for the battery, and all the things required in the battery area, battery tray. Some of them belong to this, and my chain and stuff, and my battery. But yeah, I use a can system. I'm going to try to be loud because it's windy. I use a can system, and those are the first cans I pull. Pull my battery out of here and get it all out of the way. But here's where we're at, because I'm going to go through these bolt sequences, and I'm going to go through them as fast as I can. Alright, you got a bracket right here. It holds these shift cables on. Okay, it's got 3 bolts in it. You'll need a 13mm or a 1/2 inch. Pull your clips on your tip, pop them off that so you can drop your transmission. Now this bracket right here is a bracket I removed to put my chain on. Use these 2 bolts right here, except I didn't use those 2 bolts. I would have got 2 other bolts, so I wouldn't damage those bolts. Alright, the rest of that's the air breather and the battery. That's all that. Okay, you see that right there? That's a starter bolt. You got your 2 top case bolts, which are 18s. 15 on the starter, 2 18s right here. Okay, then you got your motor mount bolt right here, and that can's pretty much shot. You almost out of that can. That'd be your top transmission can. Okay, so we got the bracket all undone. We got these bolts. Don't drop this bolt. That's your hanger bolt. You want to have your cross beam on here holding your engine up with a chain on these 2 bolts where you take this bracket. That's the way I did it. You can do it however you want to. Alright, so we got one side together over there. You get down here and we're going to look right here. Okay, you got this bracket. There's a little aluminum bracket right here. You got to install that. You're looking at 2 13mm headed 8mm metric bolts, so they're about 2 inches long. And they bolt this bracket to the transmission bell housing. Then you got these 2 little bitty bolts, probably 5-6 millimeters. Got 10mm heads, one on the top, one on the bottom. You got to push this, shove this thing back up in there, and get it up in here and get it back in. Okay, that when you pull this, the bar's going to extend. So we got one starter bolt. That's this bolt. Right, it's a longer bolt. Don't get it confused with these bolts, because if you get confused right here with the starter bolt and this bracket bolt, or bracket bolts, 2 big bracket bolts, 2 little bracket bolts. Alright, this is your cover bolts, 10mm head. You got these 2 13mm. You got this longer 15 that goes into your bottom of your starter right there, which I left out specifically so that you would not get these 2 here mixed up. So you got your main bolts where your pins are, 2 main bolts, 2 bracket bolts, 2 more bracket bolts, 1 cover bolt, 2 bolts for your slave cylinder, and this 1 bolt right up here, it's a 15mm, and it's got a Torx head impression in the head, so you can actually remove it with a Torx bit if you have to. It's bolted up right here too. I didn't take that bolt off. You need to check that and make sure it's tight. Make sure this bolt up here on your exhaust is tight on this bracket right here. These brackets are real good stuff to deal with. So that's, you can plug in your speedo connector right there from up top or down here. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 in your bottom can. There we go. That's about as good as I'm going to be able to help you with the bolt sequence. God bless on the 405.